Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 6. Kadam alakshitaha pauraihi sampraptaha kuru jangalan unmatha mukha jadavat vicharan gajasahavaye. Synonyms. Katham, how, alakshitaha, recognized, pauraihi, by the citizens, sampraptaha, reaching, Kuru Jangalan, the Kuru Jangala provinces, Unmatha, mad, Muka, dumb, Yadavat, stunted, Vicharan, wandering, Gajasahvaye, Hastinapura. Translation and purport by Shri Sabhicharna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. How was he, Srila Shukadeva, the son of Vyasa, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapura, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded? Purport. The present city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapura because it was first established by King Hasti. Goswami Shukadeva, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not, therefore, recognized by sight, but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or a great sage not to see but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Shukadeva Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly, he appeared to be a retarded, dumb madman, but in fact, he was the most elevated transcendental personality. Text 7. Kadam va pandaveyasya rajarsher munina saha samvadaha samabhutata yatraisha satvati shrutihi. Synonyms. Katham, how is it? Va, also. Pandaveyasya, of the descendant of Pandu, Parikshit. Rajarisheh, of the king who was a sage. Munina, with the Muni. Saha, with Samvadaha, discussion. Samabhut, took place. Tata, O darling. Yatra, whereupon. Yesha, like this. Satvati, transcendental. Shrutihi, essence of the Vedas. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Chirna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him? Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is started here as the essence of the Vedas. It is not an imaginary story as it is sometimes considered by unauthorized men. It is also called Shuka Samhita, or the Vedic hymn spoken by Sri Shukadeva Goswami, the great liberated sage. Text 8. Sagodahana matram hi griheshu gruhamedhinam avekshate mahabhaga Tirti kurvamstad ashramam. Synonyms. Saha, he, Shukadeva Goswami. Go dahana matram, only for the time of milking the cow. He, certainly. Gruheshu, in the house. Gruhamedinam, of the householders. Avekshate, waits. Mahabhagaha, the most fortunate. Tirthi, pilgrimage. Kurvan, transforming. Tat ashramam, the residence. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. He, Shukadeva Goswami, was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence. Purport. Shukadeva Goswami met Emperor Parikshit and explained the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was not accustomed to stay at any householder's residence for more than half an hour at the time of milking the cow, and he would just take alms from the fortunate householder. That was to sanctify the residence by his auspicious presence. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami is an ideal preacher established in the transcendental position. From his activities, those who are in the renounced order of life and dedicated to the mission of preaching the message of Godhead should learn that they have no business with householders save and except to enlighten them in transcendental knowledge. Such asking for alms from the householder should be for the purpose of sanctifying his home. One who is in the renounced order of life should not be allured by the glamour of the householder's worldly possessions and thus become subservient to worldly men. For one who is in the renounced order of life, this is much more dangerous than drinking poison and committing suicide. Text 9. Abhimanyu sutam suta prahur bhagavatotamam tasya janma mahascharyam karmani cha grinihinah. Synonyms. Abhimanyu sutam, the son of Abhimanyu. Suta, O Suta. Prahu is said to be Bhagavata Uttamam, the first class devotee of the Lord. Tasya, his Janma, birth. Maha Acharyam, very wonderful. Karmani, activities. Cha, and Grinihi, please speak to. Nah, us. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. It is said that Maharaja Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him. Purport. The birth of Maharaja Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother he was protected by the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill cows means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death, which is wonderful for any mortal being, and thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of the Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days he heard Bhagavatam. He did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep a moment. So everything about him is wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. Desire is expressed herein to hear about him in detail. Text 10. Sasamrat kasya va hetoh Pandunam manavardhanah prayopavishto gangayam anadrityadhirat sriyam. Synonyms. Saha, he. Samrat, the emperor. Kasya, for what. Va, or. Heto, reason. Pandunam, of the sons of Pandu. Manavardhanaha, one who enriches the family. Praya upavishtaha, sitting and fasting. Gangayam, on the bank of the Ganges. Anadrutya, neglecting. Adhirat, acquired kingdom. Sriyam, opulences. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaja Parikshit was the emperor of the world and all the seas and oceans, and he did not have to take the trouble to acquire such a kingdom by his own effort. He inherited it from his grandfathers Maharaj Yudhishthira and brothers. Besides that, he was doing well in the administration and was worthy of the good names of his forefathers. Consequently, there was nothing undesirable in his opulence and administration. Then why should he give up all these favorable circumstances and sit down on the bank of the Ganges, fasting till death? This is astonishing, and therefore all were eager to know the cause. Text 11. Namanti yat pada niketam Shivaya haniya dhanani shatravaha Kadham saviraha shriyam angadustyajam Yuvai satotsarashtum aho sahasubihi. Synonyms: Namanti, bow down; Yat pada, whose feet; Niketam, under; Atmanaha, own; Shivaya, welfare; Aniya, used to bring about; Dhanani, wealth; Shatravaha, enemies; Katham, for what reason; Saha, he; Viraha, the chivalrous; Shriyam, opulences; Angha, woe; Dustyajam, insuperable; Yuva, in full youth; Aishata, desired; Utsrashtum, to give up; Aho, exclamation; Saha, with; Asubhi, life. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed insuperable kingly opulences. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Purport: There was nothing undesirable in his life. He was quite a young man and could enjoy life with power and opulence. So there was no question of retiring from active life. There was no difficulty in collecting the state taxes because he was so powerful and chivalrous that even his enemies would come to him and bow down at his feet and surrender all wealth for their own benefit. Maharaja Parikshit was a pious king. He conquered his enemies, and therefore the kingdom was full of prosperity. There was enough milk, grains, and metals, and all the rivers and mountains were full of potency. So materially everything was satisfactory. Therefore there was no question of untimely giving up his kingdom and life. The sages were eager to hear about all this.